Greetings to everyone. My name is David Triana, and this is Making Connections, the interview show, a show that likes to bring people that are doing some great and interesting things throughout the region, throughout the area, throughout the nation, even throughout the world, because we have some great interviewees that like to come and talk to us about the things that they do. And we do have some special ones coming up here in a little bit during our interview session. Conexión Media Group is the publisher of Making Connections, the interview show, or the producer of that. We also publish the largest bilingual publication in Northwest Florida called Conexión, and we distribute that throughout the region from Tallahassee all the way to Mobile and points south of Mobile. In addition to that, our business networking activities are awesome because we bring together people of all backgrounds. We do them throughout the region also. We're working on one right now in Panama City. And we like to promote and sponsor different multicultural activities throughout the region also. As always, with me is my good friend, Kismet Melendez, who always wakes up and joins us here from Mobile, Alabama. ¿Cómo estás, Kismet?
Hola, saludos a todo este público que nos está observando. ¿Cómo estamos? Recuerda, mantente conectado para que sepas lo que va a estar pasando. Mira, ya llegó el verano.
Sí, el verano ya nos llegó. Oye, pero tú qué, que dormiste bien tarde anoche, no sé por qué, que están visitando familiares también de la bella isla de Puerto Rico, me dijiste, ¿no?
Claro, de la Isla del Encanto, aquí estamos, tú sabes, porque llegó el summer y entonces la gente se mueve para aquí, para allá, por toda la costa nos vamos.
Oye, ¿y qué has hecho en los últimos días? ¿Qué ha pasado? ¿Han habido actividades que has estado allá en el área de Mobile o por acá o qué onda?
Bueno, pues sí, seguimos, tú sabes, conectando con la comunidad, diferentes networking que se han realizado, ¿no? Tanto en tu área como aquí en Mobile, Alabama.
Qué
Eh,
bueno, qué bueno.
También participando de una emisora de radio y ahí estamos llevando la comunicación efectiva, amigo.
Muy bueno, qué bueno que estás ocupada haciendo diferentes cosas, tu trabajo y además todas esas grandes y excelentes actividades que haces en la parte de apoyar a la comunidad, obviamente participar dentro de la comunidad, porque es bien importante para todos nosotros, es very important to be part of our community, ¿no? De ser parte de nuestra comunidad, no nada más ir a trabajar y hacer hacer ciertas cosas, sino ser parte de la comunidad, ya sea la comunidad empresarial, ya sea la comunidad social, no importa. Debemos ser como hispanos parte de nuestra región, nuestra comunidad, porque solo así vamos a tener esa influencia que necesitamos para lograr cambios o hacer pensar a los políticos antes de que hagan ciertas cosas como las que están haciendo ahorita en nuestra Florida.
Ay,
¿Qué
sí,
opinas al
amigo.
respecto?
Mira, es lamentable que todos somos seres humanos, ¿verdad? Ese es mi pensar. Y es lamentable lo que está sucediendo cuando le ponen el terror y el miedo a las personas, ¿verdad? Y nosotros que estamos envueltos en la comunidad sentimos, ¿verdad? La impotencia de estas personas que no pueden hacer nada, que viven con miedo, que viven con terror, a que separen sus hijos, a que los separen a ellos de lo que están haciendo. Todo
Por
por el
puntos
poco
políticos.
pensamiento de otras.
Sí.
Pero
Lastimosamente,
la
pues.
realidad es que nosotros somos multiculturales y estas personas a las cuales están señalando y le están causando este miedo son los que construyen la casa
Eso,
donde ustedes viven, ¿no?
de
Son los que
acuerdo.
mantienen nuestra economía, sea porque limpien y hagan su trabajo honrado, construyan, ¿verdad? Recojan la cosecha, amigos, de lo que nosotros nos comemos. Y eso
Exacto.
causa un impacto, una cosa con otra. Porque si el que recoge la cosecha no está, el que mueve la cosecha tampoco trabaja. Y entonces,
Sí, claro, es un efecto de dominó, ¿no? Lo que sucede a veces en esas partes que mucha gente no se da cuenta. The politicians sometimes, and they do realize it. Politicians realize what they're doing, and they still like to do it because it gains them political points and other things. So it doesn't matter to them that they are affecting thousands and thousands of people. They're not just affecting the immigrant people that they are aiming or trying to kick out of the state, for example. They're affecting the entire community in many different ways, economical, friendships, churches, because those immigrants that you are trying to kick out of the state are part of your churches. Son parte de tus iglesias. Son partes de tu comunidad. Son
Así es,
amigos de tus hijos.
así es.
Son estudiantes en sus escuelas. Entonces estás afectando a todo el sistema solo por este tipo de políticas que para unos es solo el ganar puntos con ciertas partes de la comunidad. You're just trying to make some points, political points with certain parts of the community. That's okay, I guess. Hopefully, you will find out soon how bad that policy was.
Es
Maybe.
lamentable, pero yo como Kismet Meléndez, ¿verdad? Blonde Core, les exhorto a las personas que no tengan miedo, que ahora mismo si tú tienes una situación de salud, ve al hospital, atiéndete. No te pueden obligar de decir quién tú eres, de dónde tú vienes, tienen que ofrecerte el servicio. Así que no tengas miedo, sal adelante, continúa por ti, por tu familia. Somos seres humanos creados de manera perfecta, así que para adelante, eso no va a proceder, amigo.
Y si tienen algún concerniente de lo que la ley es, la ley supuestamente va a empezar el 1 de julio. Estamos hablando de esta ley anti-inmigrante que firmaron en la legislatura de la Florida. Según esto empieza el 1 de julio. Entonces todavía no estamos en el 1 de julio. No debe haber miedo inmediato, pero sí infórmate, edúcate, pregunta. Y no todo lo que se pone en el internet es verdad, ¿ok? Pregunta a un abogado, pregunta a una persona que esté involucrada tal vez en ese sistema y así ya sabes más o menos mejor lo que en realidad está sucediendo o puede suceder. Y definitivamente como individuos pues tienes que hacer tu propia decisión. Pero sí, como dice Kismet, no tengan miedo, hagan su vida, hagan sus decisiones según lo que esto afecta individualmente a cada uno de ustedes. Y Dios quiera, y con el favor de Dios, porque también la oración es muy poderosa, le entre un poco de sabiduría a aquellos que están haciendo esas decisiones tan ridículas. Y esas decisiones son ridículas, ridiculous decisions. We like to say that. This is David Triana speaking. I'm an individual. I can say whatever I want. Ridiculous decisions.
Definitivamente, yo estoy de acuerdo también, es algo ridículo, el cual, mira, el causar miedo a las personas causa estrés y el estrés causa otras cosas. Entonces todo esto es un efecto, una cosa con otra, un efecto, una cosa con otra. Así que mira, ponlo en oración, declara todos los días que tú estás bien, que todo está bien y cambia esa energía, esa vibración, esa química que hay en nuestro cerebro para que no tomemos decisiones como otros toman.
Sí, curiosamente, parte de una de nuestras entrevistas que vamos a poner en este show muestra lo que el poder humano, cuando decide hacer lo correcto, el poder que tienes. Y estamos hablando del apoyo que ciertas comunidades están dando a los niños que están aprendiendo el idioma inglés. Esos niños que están en las escuelas, que los maestros, los administradores de esas escuelas están haciendo para que esos niños aprendan el idioma. Y en nuestra comunidad del área donde vivimos, aquí hay más de 1,500 niños en el condado de Okaloosa en las escuelas aprendiendo el idioma y no todos son hispanos y por eso el efecto de estas leyes antiinmigrantes no nada más en la comunidad hispana. Nosotros estamos hablando como hispanos, pero es un efecto que tiene mucho que ver con comunidades europeas, comunidades asiáticas y de otros países que también aquí están en esa parte, si se puede decir, indocumentada. Y esos niños que están en las escuelas, gracias a Dios que hay maestros y administradores que no son políticos, porque te imaginas si fueran políticos también, no los atenderían. Y por eso qué bueno que es ver que en comunidades como North Dakota, que ni siquiera uno se podría poner a pensar que hubiera tantos latinos, están haciendo un programa tan bonito para que los niños aprendan el idioma lo mejor posible. Y también aquí en nuestros estados, en nuestra área, están haciendo cosas similares. Y esa es una de las entrevistas que tenemos hoy con un director de una escuela en North Dakota y su asistente, que es latina, en el programa que ellos tienen allá para asegurarse que los niños aprendan el idioma. Qué bonito sería que los políticos pensaran igual.
Claro, claro que sí. Estuviéramos un mundo diferente, pero no nos
Completamente.
vamos a quitar, por eso estamos aquí llevando la comunicación efectiva y poniendo nuestro granito de arena en nuestras comunidades y la región para tener un mundo diferente. Así que, ¿qué puedes
Exacto.
tú que estás allá afuera hacer y qué granito de arena puedes aportar para que tu prójimo o el mundo o lo que tú estás alrededor cambie? Así que
Eso.
vamos a ver.
Entendido. Bueno, ya le dimos la bienvenida a nuestro programa. Claro, estamos dando nuestra opinión al respecto de lo que sucede en este mundo, porque estamos afectados todos por esta situación. Y si tú piensas que no estás afectado, espérate unos mesecitos cuando pagues más por la comida y todo lo demás que viene. Y tu casita que estabas construyendo bien bonita, que ibas a dar en 6 meses, va a durar un poco más, te lo aseguro. Lastimosamente, porque así es la vida. Siempre nos da lecciones, y especialmente cuando las cosas no están haciéndose bien y de buen corazón. Ahí estaremos. Con el favor de Dios, todos sobreviviremos, pero así es la vida, ¿no? Bueno, volvemos en un minuto.
Volvemos en breve.
Do you want to advertise to thousands of Hispanics and non-Hispanics in Northwest Florida, and Southern Alabama?
¿Quieres promover tu empresa y producto a miles de hispanos y no hispanos?
Connection is your most cost-efficient way to do so.
Conexión es tu solución.
We are the largest English and Spanish publication in our region. Our primary mission is to inform, guide, and educate our readers via interesting content.
Somos la publicación mensual en español y en inglés de la más grande distribución en toda la región. Además de las 5,000 copias en papel, tenemos activas las redes sociales, incluyendo Facebook, Twitter e Instagram, y también por Internet.
Conexión is your bridge to connect you to the growing Hispanic market in the region. Call us.
Llámanos.
We have a wonderful interview for you today on Making Connections. We have 2 guests coming all the way from Mandan in North Dakota. And they are Michael Gilbertson. He is the assistant principal of Mandan Middle School. And with him today is also Arlette Faul, who is a family liaison of a wonderful program that they have established at the Mandan Public School District in North Dakota. That is kind of a benchmark program in many ways for areas that are struggling through the issue of the increase in English language learners in their school districts. Northwest Florida, where we are based here in Navarre, Fort Walton Beach area, is experiencing a very, very similar situation as these 2 wonderful people did a few years ago, or their school district did a few years ago. So they're going to tell us about that. What did they do? What did they do to take action and solve or mitigate the issue of the increase in English language learners? Welcome to Making Connections, Mr. Gilbertson. Welcome to Making Connections, Arlette. How are you all doing?
Very well.
Doing good.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start with the weather. How is the weather in Mandan right now?
Well, it's about 70 degrees right now. Snow finally melted about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
Is that right? Yeah, North Dakota, obviously all of us paint North Dakota as this cold area of the United States. I'm a retired Air Force individual, and I always remember the people that were going to Dakota saying, oh goodness, why am I going up there to the tundra and the cold country of North Dakota and South Dakota? But I heard it's a beautiful area, obviously. A lot of space to move around, and hunting and fishing and all those kinds of good things, right? So it's not just the cold weather over there, right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
You have Florida-like weather right now. We're at 73 degrees, obviously, over here, and very sunny. But let's start talking about this wonderful thing. I read an article that was sent to me by one of the administrators at the Okaloosa County School District that we're working with, and the article was called Welcome Home: How our school district supports English learners. As I mentioned, Northwest Florida here is having the same issue. We are talking with Okaloosa County officials and teachers, trying to assist them in managing the situation. They have about 1,500 English language learners in the Okaloosa County School District, and they represent 50 different languages. And I'm sure your article has made it through a lot of different people that are going through similar situations. And sure enough, the administrator, one of the administrators that is involved in this very deeply, sent me your article, and I thought it was a wonderful story to tell. Tell us a little bit about the situation in Mandan and what took place during those times when the growth of English language learners started, and what actions you started taking, Mr. Gilbertson.
You bet. Well, Mandan is centered in central North Dakota, right across the river from Bismarck. So it's, it like you said, it's not a hotbed for Hispanic culture or Hispanic population, but Mandan is home to Cloverdale meat processing plant, Cloverdale meat products. And, here in North Dakota, we have always prided ourselves on our Midwest work ethic and low unemployment and such. And, Cloverdale, like many places, was finding it hard to attract enough workers to fulfill shifts and such. And around 2015, they started a program where they began recruiting outside of the United States. Well, outside of the continental United States.
Right.
And, they, for ease, their initial recruiting efforts were centered in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And so they went to Puerto Rico and began recruiting families to come, and and pretty soon this influx of people coming to Mandan started happening. And and they were met with many challenges.
Yeah.
I mean, language wasn't the only one. I mean, you can imagine the shock of,
Culture.
Yeah. And then having it be November in Puerto Rico and having somebody.
Oh, yes, I can imagine the difference.
Let's go to Mandan, North Dakota and get a job. And then you show up and, and you're met with 1.5 feet of snow and, and then on top of it, you can't speak to anybody.
So communication obviously being an issue there, obviously, but also the environment, the different situation of families coming into an area that is unknown to them.
Absolutely. And, in 2011, in the entire district, we had four students that were classified as EL students. Our district today has about 4,200 total students, and about 140 EL students. And it's also hard to believe when I tell people that in our district alone, there are 18 different languages represented in our district. And that's, a lot of people find that hard to believe, but
now that's in the present, right? You have about 18 different languages represented. So an area that is not known as an area there's a lot of different cultures, obviously. At that point in 2011, many people from Puerto Rico are coming in, even though many in Puerto Rico speak English. The primary language is still Spanish, and so obviously a language barrier was there. And now it has continued the expansion of different cultures into Mandan, and now you have 18 different languages represented. I was reading that you have everything from Arabic speakers to Chinese, Russian, Tagalog from the Philippines, and other languages now residing, or people from those ethnicities residing in Mandan. Now, in 2011, obviously, when this occurred, you found yourself, we need to do something, right? We need to do something about this, something to help the situation, obviously, because as administrators and or teachers, obviously, you are bound your responsibility is to take care of these people, to take care of these students, right? So what actions took place? What did you do?
Well, like most things in school districts, when you are forced or faced with an influx of students, it's manpower is what you need. So the district started, went from one teacher and one para to two teachers and one para to two teachers and three paras and it just incrementally started going up. And today the high school has a dedicated teacher, the middle school has a dedicated teacher, and I think there are two teachers at the elementary. And then like here we have two paras in our program. The high school has several. So our staff is pretty large.
Yeah.
Considering and then a couple of years ago, Arlette was working in the district as a para, and one of the first IEPs I sat in on was a phone IEP with a grandmother, and the case manager said, well, one of the paras is going to come over, Arlette. And I was like, okay, I haven't met Arlette yet. And Arlette shows up and sits down and starts listening to this grandmother who was not real happy with the situation. And I just remember Arlette looking at us with eyes really wide and just shaking her head like, no, I'm not going to tell you what's being said. And that showed that, we needed somebody full time to do this. And so the next year with some grant money, Arlette came on as the family liaison. And I tell you, it has been, nothing short of amazing. And
I can imagine.
One of the biggest things is to see the fear and tension in somebody's body and on somebody's face disappear when they know that they don't have to worry about communicating.
I agree.
And
that's, most definitely. I can only imagine.
And it's just, it's just, you can just see the tension melt away from our families because they know that they'll be heard. And it's one of those things where we look back now and think, wish we would have had Arlette
many years ago, right? I'm
I'm
going to talk to you, Arlette, here soon. But I wanted to, so obviously the challenge of money is also part of this of the situation, right? Because now you have to hire more people and all that stuff. Was the community, supportive of this, the administrators and everybody, or did you have some challenges convincing people that having a formal program, Mr. Gilbertson, was actually the thing to do? Was there any challenges as far as that's concerned? Because I'm sure different school districts may experience different situations. So what kind of advice can you give them?
Not in our district, I don't believe. Our district leadership is and always has been pretty forward thinking when it has come to meeting the needs of our students, whatever those needs are. In our community, culturally, there are some challenges that
there always be.
There are, and it's not just it's not just the Hispanic population. Our predominant minority population in our area is Native American, and there's but it's one of those things where the community, I think, is as time goes on embraces more and more, because there are a lot of benefits that come, like really amazing restaurants that open up.
You bet. No question about it.
Yeah,
there's always going to be the naysayers, but more often than not, the majority always is willing to participate in an effort that is good for the youth, regardless of ethnicity and background. And I'm sure that was the case in Mandan too. Arlette, vamos a hablar contigo un poquito. We can use both English and Spanish because I want to make sure that people understand. The first thing is we happen to be talking to you as a Hispanic individual because I know you're from Panama, but this is not a Hispanic issue. You guys have 18 different languages. Here in Northwest Florida, 50 different languages are represented. But because of the nature of the beast, the Hispanic community being the largest community, the largest majority in the minority in the United States, there's always going to be the case. Primarily Hispanics are going to be the more the larger number of students. So I'm sure that was the same case in Mandan. It is the same case in here in Northwest Florida as we're talking with Okaloosa County officials. Pero congratulations, first of all, in being this liaison. I know how important it is to have that language connection, to have that cultural connection when you're dealing with parents, especially for kids that are trying to learn the language in this case. So when did you start as the liaison of this wonderful program over there in Mandan?
I started this program on August of 2021. And it was, I mean, at the beginning, it was a little, how to say, I didn't know what to expect.
Sure.
But, you know, based on the experience I had before as a paraprofessional, I already had the connections with the families because I used to work with them before.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the kids and some of the parents already knew. But then new parents and new students came into the district.
Right.
So they used to refer to me as a point of contact. And they will say, oh, ella te puede ayudar. She can help you.
Claro que sí.
That was so
Became the to-go person immediately, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it was very interesting how they just, you know, word of mouth, they say, no, Arlette, she can help you, ella te puede ayudar. She's gonna listen to you. And I was like, wow, that is so nice.
What are your primary functions as the liaison? I know you probably do a lot more things, and we'll talk about all the other ones because I'm pretty sure you do a lot more than that. But what are your primary functions as the liaison from the Mandan Public School system schools to the parents of English language learners?
So one of the main functions is to make sure that I am communicating everything from the school to the parents and vice versa. Make sure that the kids are in school, why they're not coming, make sure that they know all the policies, why the attendance policies, grades, credits, things that you can do to improve, recommendations on how can you improve your grades, programs that the school have, so that it can be successful.
So you're educating the parents on the things that the school has for them to be able to follow up on their kids,
Yes.
you know, stay up and talk to teachers, you know, during conferences and things like that, the resources and websites and all those kind of things.
Yes.
And then do you also deal directly with the children?
Sorry?
Do you also deal directly with the kids that are ELL kids?
I do. I like to go to the classroom, to the EL classroom, because I mean, even though I talk just to their parents, I work directly with their parents, I also want to make sure that they know who they can come to if they have any issues. And so that we can establish a connection through the administration. The administration have me. If they hear a name and they don't see a face, then how can they trust? So that's why I like to visit with the kids too, so that they can see somebody that is familiar and that they can trust.
Right. And I'm assuming that considering obviously what is the population of Hispanics in Mandan approximately? Do you know, percentage-wise?
That is a good question, but...
And the reason I'm asking is, as the population grows, you know, in the community itself, obviously things start popping up, services, or organizations, restaurants, businesses, and the like. So has there also been a spurt or a growth in that part of the house, you know, like on the business part of the house for employment, the services part of the house for questions about things, you know, and services that nonprofit organizations provide or agencies of the government?
Yes. Yes, for example, there's a lot of parents who ask me to go with them to human services to
Right.
know what programs they have, also to get clothes, to make sure that they're fed, the kids are
Got it.
fed too.
So those are some of the additional things that you started doing, was also being that intermediate person, or not just on the school side of things, but maybe also serving them and helping them with information about what the different agencies of the government, you know,
Yes.
or the county or city provide for them,
And-
contacts and resources.
Yes. Even I talk to them about things like, for example, if you live in a home that you don't have a garage, make sure to plug your car, because otherwise when the temperatures drop down, the cars are not gonna start. So I had to educate them in that aspect as well,
You bet.
because some of them, they will call me, teacher, my car is not starting, what happened? And then I will tell them, well, what happened is that you don't have a garage, so you need to plug in your car, you need to have a starter, or you need to have somebody to start your car so that you can be able to, go take your kid to school, and things like the little things like that. I try to like help them to navigate the
Yeah, navigate the situations. And what about the church side of the house also? Have churches started popping up also in the Mandan area? Latino
yeah.
churches that
Yes.
that cater to the Latinos in Spanish
Yeah.
and all
We
that?
have El Faro and Esperanza Viva. Those are
Uh-huh.
the two churches that I know that are Hispanic. I know that El Faro is bilingual. Esperanza Viva is just Spanish speaking. But yeah, we have churches too, which is nice that, for a Spanish speaker, and also bilingual, so they can learn the both languages. So that is good.
That's outstanding. And has the growth, do you see the growth as continuing, Mr. Gilbertson, as far as the population of students in Mandan School District? Are there other reasons that now different Latino and or other cultures are coming into Mandan, and you see that potential growth in the programs?
Yeah, I see the potential to continue to be there, because there are a lot of, of course, many of the families that, initially came in 2015, we were starting to get extensions of their families coming,
Yeah.
and, and going down the line. And then, many times, if families move here, if they fulfill an obligation to Cloverdale, they'll go end up working somewhere else,
Walmart.
Yep, there's a lot of quite a few of them that, then go work at Walmart, or we have, there's some that actually work in the school system here.
Yeah.
Like in
Bobcat as well.
yes,
Bobcat
is a large machinery manufacturing facility in Bismarck. So yes, I see, I foresee that the growth very much continuing.
Sí. Arlette, y en español, ¿cómo tú llegaste a Mandan qué países son representados en estos estudiantes de aprendizaje del lenguaje?
¿En español?
Sí, claro. Vamos a hablar en español para que nos entienda nuestra gente también.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Gilbertson. I'm sure you learned a little Spanish by now.
Absolutely.
Bueno, yo vine aquí porque mi esposo y yo nos conocimos vía internet, y cuando él me dijo que él era de North Dakota, yo decía, ¿dónde es North Dakota? Y él me habló mucho de North Dakota, me enseñó fotos, yo decía, este lugar es muy lindo. Y
sí, muy bonito.
Estuvimos 3 años, nos conocimos, y después yo vine un verano, un invierno, primavera, y después decidimos casarnos, y por eso fue que llegué a Dakota del Norte.
Excelente. Un cambio radical también de Panamá, ¿no? Porque Panamá es calor o lluvia, nada más. It rains or it's dry, Mr. Gilbertson, in Panama, yeah, okay? That's it. Right. Very, very humid. ¿Qué diferentes países hay en la comunidad latina o hispana de Mandan que has reconocido dentro de ese grupo de estudiantes o familias que está sirviendo?
Bueno, he visto venezolanos, colombianos, he visto mexicanos bastante y puertorriqueños. De los jóvenes que he estado sirviendo, panameños todavía no he visto. Ojalá que algún día puedan venir,
Sí.
pero esto es usualmente son de esos países los que estamos trabajando.
See, it's the same thing in this area too. The increases coming from Venezuela
Yes.
and Colombia and South America, many different the growth. You can see the Venezuelan community growing here in our area also, igualmente como allá también me imagino. Y entonces el servicio que tú das no es nada más de ayudar a los padres con lo de las escuelas, ¿no? Los ayudas con muchísimas otras cosas, me imagino.
Muchas otras cosas. A veces los padres necesitan hablar y muchas veces me llaman para contarme sus luchas con sus niños. Me cuentan luchas entre ellos mismos, cómo se sienten, de frustraciones. Y
Claro.
digo, para hacer esa buena conexión, uno tiene que sentarse a escuchar a las personas. Y como yo me puedo identificar, porque yo he pasado por luchas, entonces por eso es que conectamos, porque hemos tenido las mismas luchas y al escucharlos, ellos se sienten bien, sienten como que hay una amistad, sienten como que soy familia y así yo los veo también a ellos.
Así es, muchísimas felicidades primeramente por la gran labor que estás haciendo. For sure, when people do a good job, more will call, right? When you don't do a good job, they will not call you. So a prime example of she's doing a great job, Mr. Gilbertson, is that they just pass the word, call her about this, call her about that. And I'm sure she's doing many other things on behalf of in this case, just the Hispanic community, because that's what she's tasked to do, that are even outside of her primary responsibilities. And that is normally the case. You know, when you do a great job, that's what's going to happen. You're going to end up helping with other things, you know, from the kindness of your heart for sure. But that's because people also need that help and support. So Mr. Gilbertson, she's doing a great job for you, I'm sure, because they keep calling her. Okay.
Absolutely. And when I, you know, when I sit and listen to people, you know, the Spanish language being spoken, as long as I have Arlette next to me, I know that she's got my back. So I don't worry at all. I don't worry at all.
That's right.
Thank
Well,
you.
your program, I think your program is one of the ones that for sure I will be plugging here throughout this region as much as possible, because I think it's a benchmark program. And I was glad to see it come through one of the administrators here in Okaloosa County, because again, they are taking action. They are doing some wonderful things within the schools as their responsibilities require, but they're also going now to the outside of the schools, to the community, to come and support their efforts, because that growth has a large impact on both ends. You know, the people that are trying to support these children, the students, the administrator, or the teachers, the administrators, and the families themselves, obviously, because there's not just sometimes not enough translators, not enough interpreters, not enough people that can communicate. And you know, one of the schools here did a social event a couple of months ago that we were able to help them with as Hispanics here in the area, because it was a Hispanic outreach concept. And it was just a basic socialization night that they did. It was a great success. And the sentiments that Arlette expressed about what the families feel, and what you also mentioned about that you know, that loss of the stress of not being able to communicate, you know, when immediately they can communicate with somebody from the school district, was evident in many of those families. I interviewed one that I'm going to attach to this interview also, that specifically said that one of the main things that she told me was, the main thing about this small social that we had is that I felt like they cared. That's it. One of the main things she said she felt, she just felt from that 1 hour event of socializing with the Hispanic parents from the school administrators. And she says that was the biggest relief for her that she has felt in a long time. She almost cried saying that. It was just such a simple but such a powerful thing, to know that you care, which is what you guys have been showing with this wonderful program in Mandan school district over there that you started, and you rose to the challenge, as your article says, and you're doing it greatly along with Arlette, and I'm sure the entire structure of the administrators at the school district level, and specifically your school. So we want to congratulate you for doing that, and we hope this program is emulated, not just here in Okaloosa County, but in other places that need it, where the growth of the Hispanic community continues, and the growth of the multicultural and many ethnicities. Not because this is not just a Hispanic issue. It is an issue affecting many different ethnicities with different languages, as the example of 18 different languages in your school district, 50 different languages in our Okaloosa County School District only, which is in Northwest Florida. And I'm sure other districts will see these things, hopefully see this program, your program, and what you're doing over there. And you probably get some phone calls. I hope you do. Because
so. It'd be great to share.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it would be a wonderful thing, and I think it's probably going to happen. Hopefully, you'll get some phone calls from other districts here that we will engage with on our end. Right now, we're working directly with the Okaloosa County School District. They're starting the ball rolling just like you did in 2011, and again, doing great things already within the system. But there can be more things done to make it better, which is really what this committee that they just formed is called the English Language Learners Community Connections Committee, formed by Okaloosa County here, in which they're inviting people like us, community leaders and or business people, nonprofit organizations, and others that are interested in helping solve the issue, which is what communities should be all about, right? Getting together, seeing a need, whatever it is, in this case, within the schools, like you did in 2011, coming up with a program, a formal program that once implemented, will hopefully succeed. And you have shown that it has, and it has succeeded through Arlette and you and everyone that supports you and what you do within your school district. So any final words of advice for anyone that is out there listening to Making Connections and is experiencing a similar situation with English learners? Any final words from either of you or both of you?
I guess my final words would be as long as, from like the school side and the community side, as long as you're doing what's best for kids, it's the right thing. And that's how we approach every decision. And it doesn't matter if a student comes to us and doesn't speak any English and they're here for 15 days. We have 15 days left of school, and there are kids now, and we serve them, and we are going to do our best. So as long as those are your intentions, it's going to be successful.
You got it. Outstanding words, awesome words. Arlette, any unas palabras finales, English or Spanish? No importa.
well, I would say to always have an open door policy to all our families, regardless, the race, the culture, and the language barrier. Because if we have a love for what we have, we're gonna always be successful and, overcome all those barriers.
You got it. You got it. Thank you very much for being with us. Michael Gilbertson, Assistant Principal at Mandan Middle School, and Arlette Faul, the liaison for their program with the English language learners on the Hispanic side of the house. Es David Triana aquí con ustedes en Conexión en las Calles, y estamos en la escuela Max Brunner Middle School, porque esta noche la escuela hizo un gran evento que nosotros tuvimos la suerte de apoyar, un evento en que los directores de la escuela, unos maestros,
extendieron sus manos, sus brazos para que la comunidad latina, los padres de los hijos hispanos que están en esta escuela vinieran a conocerlos, a socializar con ellos, a comer y a recibir información de gran interés para ellos. Entonces estamos aquí con la señora Arredondo. ¿Cuál es su primer nombre, me dijo?
Laura.
Laura, hable un poquito más para que lo escuchen. Laura Arredondo, que es una madre aquí de un niño que está aquí en la escuela Max Brunner. ¿Su hijo en qué año está?
Sexto.
En sexto. Excelente, y son de herencia mexicana. Y ¿cómo le pareció este evento de esta noche a la cual usted vino?
Pues es muy importante para la comunidad latina porque pues nos damos cuenta de que somos tomados en cuenta, ¿vale? La redundancia, y sobre todo para informarnos sobre los apoyos que hay también para nosotros, porque pues como siendo inmigrantes a veces nos sentimos muy limitados o no tenemos la información suficiente.
Entonces la parte informativa fue algo muy positivo, ¿no? Recibieron información de importancia para usted como madre, también para su hijo y el que le hayan hecho este evento y poniendo atención a usted, que usted se siente contenta de estar aquí. Sí. ¿Y su hijo cómo le fue? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Le gustó estar aquí también? ¿Él estuvo aquí?
Sí. Pues sí, no, o sea, lo que le digo, pues lo más importante es eso, que nos sentimos tomados en cuenta. Y muchas veces el hispano o el inmigrante nos sentimos
como que no valen, como que a nadie le importa, ¿no? Están aquí por sí mismos, solitos.
No tenemos el apoyo porque no estamos en nuestro país, no sentimos, o el gobierno de aquí no está obligado a darnos un apoyo como si lo estuviéramos en nuestro país, ¿verdad? Y al hacerle este tipo de eventos y que sabemos que hay una comunidad que nos está apoyando, pues ya nos sentimos un poquito como que en nuestro hogar.
Eso, qué bueno, qué bueno. Yo creo que es una de las cosas más importantes de este evento, el hacer sentir a los padres de los niños que son bienvenidos, que les han extendido la mano para ayudarles y apoyarlos, porque obviamente tal vez su hijo no hable inglés completamente y usted tampoco, ¿correcto? Entonces es algo importante de que se pudo hacer algo bilingüe también, ¿no? Y vinieron unas agencias que les ofrecieron también sus informaciones y servicios. Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros, señora Redondo.
Gracias.
Y la felicitamos por haber venido, porque eso es bien importante, que los padres respondan cuando les abren las puertas de la escuela. La felicito por ello. Gracias.
Pues gracias a ustedes por la invitación y por demostrarnos que sí tenemos el apoyo.
Aquí estamos, gracias. This is David Triana with Conexión on the Streets. We are at Pryor, W.C. Pryor Middle School in Fort Walton Beach, the Proud Pirates. And I'm talking to some individuals that just participated in a very neat ceremony because there's a group at the Okaloosa County School District system and a committee that was recently formed. It's called the ELL. ELL stands for English Language Learners Community Connections Committee, and it was formed by Mr. Gary Massey, who works for the school district. And this committee's purpose is to help the young men and women that are participating in the English language learners programs in the different schools. There's 1,500 students that are part of that program, 50 languages represented in Okaloosa County, and this committee's purpose is to support the schools from the outside in, meaning the community leaders. So we have with us Mr. Marcos Otero, who is a physician's assistant at Gulf Coast Immediate Care Center. I have Josie Saldana with she's a realtor with one of the companies here locally, and she'll tell us about that. And then Aaron Saldana, who is her husband. Marcos, you just participated in a donation of $500 to W.C. Pryor middle school. Tell us a little bit about your feelings as it relates to doing this type of activity, because it is for these young men and women that are learning English here in the area.
David, since my arrival to this community, being I am Hispanic, I have always participated in some form. Like these Conexión Florida, anytime there's a request for help, if we can help, we do, we donate. Because it goes back to the community. And my importance, what I want to stress here, although we talk about being Hispanic and stuff, we do this for all the community. It's the whole community. When we do, when David, when we do the Christmas stuff for the toys, we don't say only Latinos. It's for the whole community, and I want to impress that because I don't want people to think that we're being one-sided. We're not. And like I said, you know, I've been doing this, maintaining the paper, helping you out whenever I can, and I hope to continue that as long as I have the health to do that.
Okay. Hey, Josie and Aaron, I know you all are from the area, also from Crestview, actually. You guys came down all the way from Crestview to participate in this kind of a small ceremony, the donation of 500. You guys were part of that donation. Which company do you work for, Josie?
I work for Realty One Group Emerald Coast. I'm a realtor there. My broker's Jackie Liberto.
Okay, and Aaron, your company?
I'm the owner of 850 Solutions here locally.
Okay, tell us a little bit about why you think it was important for you to participate in this donation, charity donation in a sense, to support the schools.
So, like some of you, I grew up in a bilingual home. I'm not Latino though, I'm actually Italian, so I come from an Italian background. And I just have a heart for bilingual children and families, and you know, I grew up in that environment, and it was just very rewarding for me today to be able to be a part of that and participate and help them get the resources that they need.
Okay, what about you, Aaron? What about this family, you know, in a sense, a couple, a married couple participating in this?
It's such an amazing feeling to be able to do this with my wife, and you know, it's not just the Latino family, like you mentioned earlier, it's the community as a whole. You know, we need to build up the next generation so that they can go and be leaders in the community, be leaders in the country, and it starts with the schools. And if we're not helping them now, we can't really help them when they get older. So we need to come together and be a family, be a community. You know, it takes a community to raise a child. And that's what we're doing. We're being the community. We're doing what we've been called to do. And that's go and love on the kids and help them with whatever needs that they might need. And I feel like that's where we're going to succeed, is by joining together from all different walks of life, no matter what nationality, what culture you come from, to be one community.
Outstanding. Thank you very much for doing that. Marco, some final words for the people out there that are listening to you as it relates to this project called the ELL Community Connections Committee that is trying to help the English language learners within the schools.
Well, the ELL, as we had more migrants coming across, the schools have been overwhelmed. Now these teachers are not bilingual. These children are being put into an environment where they understand nothing, and they need to learn. Luckily, kids, unlike you and I, we're slow learners. They learn quickly. But if we can give them more of that, the resource, more books, more whatever it takes, we'll do this. And the ELL committee, I'm glad it was started, because that's a starting block to where we have to go into the future.
Well, again, thank you very much for participating in this conversation. We want to ensure that everybody out there knows about the formation. This is an Okaloosa County effort, but we are pretty sure that this exists in all the counties in Northwest Florida, Bay County, Escambia County, Santa Rosa County, Walton County, with Okaloosa having 1,500 English language learners with over 50 languages represented. This is not a Hispanic issue. This is a community issue, as all of you have said it. And congratulations and for participating in this, both as individuals and representing your companies. This has been Conexión on the Streets, saying so long. We'll see you next time. Nos vemos a la próxima.
Welcome back. Well, let's talk about some of the stuff that's going on this summer, because el verano ya viene o ya vino. No, ya viene. El 21 de junio me parece que empieza el verano, ¿verdad? Y aquí, como tú sabes, siempre decimos como por chiste, pero en verdad es casi realidad, ¿no? Que la gente dice, aquí no hay nada que hacer. Y nosotros siempre decimos, entonces, todos estos programas y estos shows y estos flyers y estos ¿eso qué es? ¿Verdad?
Pues mira, la gente dice, todavía yo creo que dicen que no hay nada que hacer, pero parece que es que se lo ponen en su mente, porque mira, hay eventos por toda la región y aquí estamos para informártelos, así que no te puedes perder la mejor sección de ¿qué pasa en la
La
región?
región, exactamente. Y en un minutito más o menos les vamos a poner ahí unos volantes y flyers de los eventos venideros. Pero este verano hay un par de eventazos latinos en la región. No sé qué está pasando en Mobile, tú me vas a decir si hay algo por allá, pero yo sé que aquí en Pensacola vuelve por medio de los boricuas ausentes, que es una fundación sin fin de lucro que nuestra amiga Geraldine está manejando, Geraldine Martínez. Están reviviendo un eventazo allí a Kismet, que no estoy seguro si veniste, pero se llamaba el Salsa Music Festival. Y lo hicieron como por 10 años acá en Fort Walton Beach y luego
Ay,
lastimosamente paró por lo de la pandemia y todo lo demás, pero lo están reviviendo. Y este 29 de julio lo van a hacer en Pensacola, más cerquita que a ti.
eso. Ah, bueno, pues yo voy para allá a bailar la salsa.
Definitivo, ese sí, definitivo es un festival de salsa, se llama, no salsa de comer, estoy seguro que va a haber, sino de bailar. Música en
Salsa.
vivo, vendedores, comida, todo eso que nos identifica como hispanos, pero definitivamente la comunidad boricua orgullosamente produce este gran festival de la salsa. Va a ser el 29 de julio, les vamos a dar más detalles mientras nos llegan, pero ya tenemos un poquito de información por medio del flyer y lo vamos a poner en los eventos venideros. Y también nuestra amiga Mercedes Ferris tiene su Hispanic Street Fest, que va a ser el 16 de septiembre en la calle abierta ahí de Downtown Fort Walton Beach, como lo ha hecho los 2 años pasados cuando hizo la ciclovía conjunta con el festival. Esta vez, separado, va a ser el festival hispano allí. Entonces, todo el día, ambiente latino, música, comida, baile y todas las cosas, esa es la pachanga que nos gusta y la parranda que nos gusta a todos los latinos. Ese va a ser el 16 de septiembre en Fort Walton Beach. Entonces, el verano va a estar lleno de actividades latinas.
Pues claro que sí, también podemos destacar que pronto llega el tercer Mobile Latin Fest, el cual tú que estás en la región no te lo puedes perder, así que tienes que estar conectado por aquí, que daremos más detalles entre el 13 y 14 de octubre, ahí vamos a estar. Además
Oh,
que acabé de destacar que el segundo viernes de cada mes tenemos el Artwork allá en el Downtown de Mobile, y si tú no has salido de tu casa, sal de tu casa, visita el downtown, que las galerías están abiertas, los artesanos están allí para ti, apoyas lo local, apoya lo de aquí y después no diga que no hay nada. También tenemos un taller educativo que se titula Regálate Vida. Mire, regálese vida y vayan a conocer el tesoro que llevas dentro a través de la meditación. El 31 de mayo, eso es miércoles a las 5 de la tarde, un taller completamente gratis. Después no diga, mira, te educamos, te decimos cómo, a dónde puedes ir con la familia. Y también tenemos, mira, allá vamos para Pensacola. Hay un party que ordena Pensacola Vibrando y DJ Kendro y se llama Bay on the Beach. Te montas en el
wow.
botecito a las 6 de la tarde, ¿verdad? Hasta las 9 de la noche, pagas tu taquilla, te incluye tu comida, vas por la bahía con buena música, interactuando con personas diferentes, ¿verdad? Lleva a tu pareja, lleva a tus amigos y vamos a ver hasta el atardecer. Así que, mire, es que el verano ya llegó. El verano
Oye,
llegó.
y ese que acabas de mencionar, ¿ya tiene fecha?
Sí, va a ser el 28 de mayo.
El 28 de mayo, el 28 de
Bay
mayo,
on the Beach.
excelentísimo. Fíjate, mira, nada más aquí les nombramos 4 o 5 eventos con tema latino este verano, ¿verdad? Y por supuesto, hay muchas otras cosas más que no necesariamente son latinas a las que puede uno ir, como dijiste, el Art Walk over there en Mobile, también aquí en Fort Walton Beach, los viernes y sábados tienen varios eventos en el downtown, Pensacola definitivamente tiene muchísimos. Entonces hay muchas cosas que hacer. Y entonces aquí vienen los eventos venideros en
Lo que pasa en tu región.
esta Pues como dice el dicho, todas las cosas buenas también terminan. All good things must come to an end. And so we have reached the end of our Making Connections interview show. Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros. Thank you very much for being with us at this edition of the Making Connections interview show. We hope you like it. And we want to make sure again that you follow us. Follow us on our Facebook page. Definitely find us on the YouTube channel for Conexión. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share it because we want as many people as possible to get this show. We do have the option for you to advertise with us. So contact us if you want to put a commercial into the Making Connections show. And again, we just want to bring people that are interesting, that are doing great things out there for the community in general. It doesn't have to be just the Latino community, but we definitely want to highlight people that do some great stuff towards our Hispanic community. So, Kismet, muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros. Algunas últimas palabras.
Bueno, pues ya se acabó el programa, pero mantente conectado y sintonizando a Making Connection. Así que te exhortamos a que le des, mira, like allí al canal de YouTube y también lo compartas para que otras personas puedan tener la comunicación efectiva que te estamos llevando. Y si tú quieres ser parte de Making Connection, no dudes en contactarnos para que tú puedas también reportar qué pasa, qué es lo que está pasando aquí, qué es lo que está pasando en tu región. Y recuerda, follow me a través de Facebook, TikTok, Instagram y mi YouTube channel como Kismet Meléndez, que aquí estamos para servirte. Y también sígueme en mi identidad sin fin de lucro para seguir ayudando a nuestra comunidad Hispanic Community Services.
All right, muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros como siempre. Thank you very much for being with me, Kismet. Espero que tengas un buen resto del mes y el verano que va a estar fregón.
Ya llegó el
Great summer. We will see you next time on Making Connections.
Bye bye.
God bless you.